Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another discussion video. I'm actually really looking forward to doing this one because it's just been so much like my wedding story stuff, how broken the pack is and all that, so I wanted to take a little break from that. So this should be an interesting discussion because it's something I have seen pop up on Twitter on occasion, and it's whether the baking skill should be made free for everybody with a base game update. Because in case you didn't know, the baking skill is part of the Get to Work expansion pack. It's kind of funny thinking about that sometimes because Get to Work is a really old expansion pack, so if you bought that when it first came out, you might have forgotten that it actually came with that pack. It's just like, okay, it's part of the game now, but wait a minute, where did it come from again? Oh right, this expansion pack, and it's not like specifically focused around baking, it's just a skill that happens to be part of it. There are numerous things that have been made free when they were previously part of a DLC over the years, such as hairstyles or even certain features such as the calendars, which were originally part of seasons. So baking has come up from time to time. And in this video, I want to present both sides of this sort of idea, like the positives and the negatives. I'll start off with the positives. So I think a pretty obvious positive is just that you have more to do in the base game without needing to buy DLC. Sure, there are a lot of recipes in the base game and across the various packs besides Get to Work, but not all of them always make sense to just simply categorize under cooking or gourmet cooking. Even though this video is not supposed to be about my wedding stories, it is actually a good example because you have the cakes that you can use for the weddings, but they, for some reason, use the gourmet cooking skill. So I think it would make a lot more sense if it improved the baking skill instead. Maybe this reasoning is because baking is limited to Get to Work and not part of the base game, but I do question that a little bit. We'll get more into that when I talk about the negative side of putting baking into the base game. Another upside to having baking in the base game is I think it does make sense to have as a base game thing. I mean, you even just use the oven to bake stuff. And going back to what I said near the beginning of the video about how, especially if you own Get to Work since it first came out, you kind of forget it's actually part of an expansion pack and not already in the base game to begin with. One last positive I can think of is that if they did put baking in a base game update, then in that same update they would probably also put in a few brand new recipes that make sense to be under the baking skill. So then everyone gets something new, whether you already have Get to Work or not. Also, they could potentially recategorize existing recipes under the baking skill. For example, someone even commented on my Twitter saying, what if they made the Mustafarian lava roll under baking? So, oh, baking batu, yeah! Anyways, now onto the more negative side of this topic. So taking the baking skill out of Get to Work would mean taking a bit of value away from the pack. And actually, I'm pretty sure one of the first occurrences ever with The Sims 4 where they took something out of the pack and make it base game was the other skill that used to be exclusive to Get to Work, and that is photography. That skill was patched into the base game just before Cats and Dogs came out, since there is that ability to Simstagram your pet. It's not really something that's really all that deep of a feature, but nonetheless, it is still there. The idea of Get to Work, which is generally considered one of the worst expansion packs out there, to go from 2 new skills to 0, I think is a pretty bad thing. I don't think that would be a good thing in the end, unless maybe they made baking in the base game alongside a Get to Work refresh, and in that refresh, there's a new Get to Work exclusive skill, maybe revolving around the aliens or something new with the retail aspect. I'm not too sure, but at least then that could kind of make up for taking baking out of Get to Work as an exclusive. And I think it would make it even worse if they patched in all of the recipes in Get to Work's baking into the base game Because, well, yeah, then it's like, okay, then that takes even more value away than just the skills. I don't think it's actually that likely that they would patch in all of Get to Work's baking recipes, but at the same time, I can't completely write off that possibility. Another thing is, I don't think they have to patch baking into the base game in order to use the baking skill with other packs. For example, if you have both fitness stuff and snowy escape, you can use the rock climbing treadmill from fitness stuff to not only build the existing fitness skill in base game, but also the rock climbing skill from snowy escape. But they did not make the rock climbing skill from snowy escape base game. So I think that is proof that they don't need to make something base game just to make it work with another pack in terms of the skills. In case you're still confused, what I'm saying is, with My Wedding Stories, again as an example, if you happen to have Get to Work installed, then when you make those cakes, it would increase the baking skill. But if you don't have Get to Work, then you still would have it build the gourmet cooking skill like it does right now. So you're not taking any value away from Get to Work, it's just that people who don't have Get to Work would not be able to build the baking skill while making something that would make sense to increase baking. In summary, for the pros, we have more to do in base game and makes sense as a base game skill, possible new recipes for everyone if it's patched in, and it could be integrated with packs like My Wedding Stories. And then for the cons, you have takes value away from Get to Work, which is already considered one of the worst expansion packs. And then Get to Work already had one skill taken away, so should it have the other one taken away too? And it does not need to be patched in to be used with the other expansion packs, it seems, especially when referencing the fitness stuff rock climbing treadmill with snowy escape. So which side am I on here? Well, I gotta say I'm really on the fence with this one because it really depends on the execution. Because if they just simply patched in the baking skill with nothing new to it and also brought in all of the recipes from Get to Work, then I would be against that for sure. However, if they took out the baking skill from Get to Work but kept its recipes in Get to Work and also gave the pack a much needed refresh with 1 or 2 brand new skills that are also exclusive to that pack, then I would actually be okay with baking becoming a base game skill that is free for everyone. I think it is a pretty interesting discussion because when I've seen the idea brought up in the past, I was firmly like, nope, definitely not, because I'm so tired of so many things being taken away from packs instead of making new content. But I think this is actually one example where it could be done well without taking so much value away. Like, one example I don't mind is when they take radio stations from packs, but they keep the original songs from that radio station in its original pack, but they put brand new songs in the base game updates for that radio station. So in the end, everyone wins, and the radio station isn't actually a very big selling point of a pack anyway. Plus, it's not like they've patched in every single radio station from the packs, it's only been a couple of them. That's pretty much it for this discussion video, so feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Would you like to see the baking skill put into the base game for free, or would you rather have it stay exclusive to Get to Work? And be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content, including life simulations and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!